Mario Batista versus Vinicius Oliveira is the main event of UFC Fight Night at the weekend. I'm just going to do a quick run through of the card, a quick breakdown, because it is a pretty decent card, and this is a main event I'll actually be looking forward to. So we'll start there. We're going to start with Vinicius Oliveira, and we're going to move away from Mario Batista, hopefully. It's an interesting scrap. Both going to be standing on the feet. Mario Batista is a lot more kind of fluid on the feet than I originally thought. A little bit slicker than I originally thought. I'm going to go with Vinicius Oliveira on this one, to be honest with you. I really like his speed. I really like his ability. And I feel like Vinicius Oliveira is quite underrated. I think Mario Batista, beat Patchy Mix and had like a decent moment against fucking Umar Nurmagomedov. This isn't a great main event. This isn't a great card. I need a bit more here at the UFC, okay? Now, in fairness, I'll give the UFC credit. We've been absolutely spoiled the last 2 weeks. We've had two very good back-to-back pay-per-views. So I'm okay with a mid-enough fight night card. I want Vinicius Oliveira to win. And even if we take a little look-see at the card here, it's pretty decent. Amir Albazi, Jalen Almeida, Marc-Andre Barrazzi, Dustin Jacoby. It's a decent enough card. Alex Morono's on the prelims. So it's not even like a terrible fight night. It's not. It's actually one of the better fight nights I've seen in my life the last 2 years, which, isn't saying much. But, yeah. I wonder, should the UFC do less events and just kind of focus on quality cards? I'd much rather absolutely stacked cards than an extra 3 or 4 events every year. Like, I don't mind taking 3 weeks in, 1 week off. Like, I really don't. Because, like, it feels like a week off. Okay? This card feels like a week off. Because no one's talking about this card. No one cares. Like, I love MMA. I fucking love the UFC so much. And I will break down every single card until the day I die. Because I love doing YouTube. And I'm going to make this into something. But, fuck me. God tests your patience when it comes to this. I've had to sit through Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber breakdowns, okay? So no one can ever tell me I'm not a UFC fan. But I feel like Vinicius Oliveira is going to be too quick for him. I think Mario Batista does the basics well, but I don't think he has any special. He's not special. He's got heavy hands. He looked good against Umar Nurmagomedov in moments. Vinicius Oliveira hasn't really beaten anybody. You know what I mean? He hasn't really beaten anybody with a bit of name. We'll take a look at Vinicius Oliveira's topology here. We'll take a look at it because it's not like, it's a barn burner scrap, but Vinicius Oliveira beat Saeed Nurmagomedov, beat Kyler Phillips, beat Ricky Simon. Pretty decent wins. Okay, they're pretty fucking decent wins. Let me move myself over there. They're pretty decent wins. Nothing crazy. Saeed Nurmagomedov kind of fell off a cliff. I'll be honest with you, he kind of fell off a cliff. But pretty good wins. Pretty good. And Mario Batista, the most hated man in all of MMA. He had 2 fights with Cheeto booked. Also got the Ricky Simon fight. Got the Ricky Simon fight done. Patchy Mix. That was like one of the biggest fraud checks I think I've ever seen in the sports history, to be honest with you. That was bad. That was bad. That was one of the biggest fraud checks ever. So these guys have kind of taken out the kind of like, I think, the Terrence McKinneys and the Drew Dobers of the bantamweight division. Bantamweight is in an extremely good place simply because we have an insane champion. We have very good contenders. Listen, I wish I could sit here and tell you things would be different between O'Malley and Umar. O'Malley's going to get the next shot. O'Malley's going to be fighting Peter Yan next. It's just the way it is. We have to accept this as MMA fans, that they're always going to give it to the privileged kid. It's shit. It's terrible. I hate it. I don't like it. I think it's really bad for the sport. I think people that just get rushed to title shots after one win. Look at Peter Yan. Peter Yan took 3 years before he fought for an undisputed world title. In fairness to Justin Gaethje, it'll be 2022, I think, was when he fought for a belt. It's 2026, so it'll probably be like 4 and a bit years by the time Gaethje fights for a belt. So you can make the argument. I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but you can make the argument. Gaethje has put in a lot of work to get there. Now he's lost, and I don't like the way he's kind of got himself into the title picture. But O'Malley's going to get it. And neither of these two are in any positions to be taking anything from anyone. They're fucking they're not shit. They're not gonna win anything. They're not gonna win anything. Why is this a main event? Why? Why is this a main event? Now listen, like I said, I've seen a lot worse fight nights in my life, so I can't complain too much because, like I said, I've had to sit through Macy Barber and Aaron Blanchfield. It's just breaking down cards like this can be tiring. They can be tiring. But it's a pretty decent main card. Gonna go Vinicius Oliveira via decision. I think he's gonna be way too quick. I think I'll have Mario Batista figured out with the rage. And I don't think Batista's all that. I don't think Batista's all that good, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go Vinicius Oliveira in this one. He's a nice underdog as well, so I'll take him on that. Sorry, my phone buzzed. Amir Albazi versus Kaigo Horiguchi. Amir Albazi is kind of getting violated a little bit here. Now, I was actually at Horiguchi's last fight. I was in the corner. I was in Horiguchi's corner in Qatar. People didn't really know who I was. People didn't know the preacher, so I kind of got away with it. But I was in Qatar for his fight. And Horiguchi looks good. I'm going to pick Horiguchi via decision on this one. I think Amir Albazi kind of fell off a little bit. He was favoured to beat Brandon Moreno and stuff like that. And I believe he was like undefeated, or he was like 17-1 going into the Moreno fight. And I'm pretty sure I picked Moreno to beat him as well. I thought Moreno looked fucking sharp in that fight. I don't really rate Amir Albazi. He's got very good wrestling. You can make the argument Kyle France beat him and stuff like that. But I think Amir Albazi is kind of like a 5'6" fighter. He's not going to be pushing for a title fight anytime soon. It's actually a pretty good fight night. But I'm going to go with Kaigo Horiguchi. Kyoji Horiguchi, I should say. I think Horiguchi's good. I think Horiguchi can scrap. I think Horiguchi's probably more effective on the feet. And when this gets taken to the ground, Horiguchi's going to be able to get him in position and stuff like that. So, fuck it, I'm actually going to go with Horiguchi via submission on that one. I'm going to go via second round submission. Maybe Amir Albazi has a little bit of success with the grappling early on, and then Horiguchi kind of finds him out. But yeah, I'm going to go with Horiguchi on that one. I'll tell you about this fight. That's Jailton Almeida versus Rizan Kuniev. I just want to make it clear right now that Jailton Almeida should have been cut from the UFC when he fought Alexander Volkov. That was the most pitiful, pathetic, disgraceful joke, embarrassment. Just every single thing wrong with the sport of mixed martial arts was on showcase in that fight, simply because how much of a fucking melon Jailton Almeida is and how much of a fucking melon he proved to be in that fight. I think Almeida's limited. I think Almeida's got good grappling. I'm going to pick Almeida in this fight simply because he's just going to go in there. And now listen, do I think Almeida deserved the win against Volkov? It's a damage-based scoring, but Volkov didn't do much damage. And the scoring is very simple. It's whoever is landing more damage. And, if you're going to get points for takedowns, then you have to give points for people stuffing takedowns. That's what I think. I don't really necessarily give points for takedowns, because if one guy's doing the more damage, like just about more damage, he's winning a round regardless of how many times he gets taken down. It's a damage-based scoring. If someone gets straight back up, are we rewarding that? What are we rewarding with takedowns? Where does points start to come in for takedowns? We should be taking points for holding people up against the cage. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that we should be taking points from fighters who are constantly holding up against the cage, ruining the fucking sport, ruining the fight, and have no interest in progressing the position or trying to get a damage off it. Just because you're throwing knees to the thigh, doesn't mean that you are trying to do damage. It's a fact. I think, Rizat Kuniev had a bit of a rough one there with Curtis Blades for a while. I think Jailton Almeida has potential, but he's just so fucking boring. He's the most boring fighter I've ever watched, if we're being honest. He's up there with Bilal Muhammad. He's up there with Merab. I just think the way he fought Volkov was such a bitch move. I thought it was a bitch way to fight. And I think Jailton Almeida has all the potential, but he has no interest in progressing positions to more damaging positions. He has no interest in getting in a half guard and landing elbows. He's no interest in landing elbows in full. He just has no interest in it. Or when he's even in a guard. No interest. No ground and pound. Just wants to lay on his opponent. I hate that. I hate that style. He's going to do the exact same thing here. I think Jalen Almeida is poison for the UFC. I genuinely think he's poison. I think Jalen Almeida is terrible. He has potential though. But just the way he fights, I'll never back. I'll never back people like that. And people that enjoy that or say they enjoy that, they're just casuals trying to be hardcore. Marc-Andre Barreta. I always mispronounce his second name. And he's fighting the Mikael from Poland. I don't know. Michael is quite actually a good fighter in this one. Oleszak. I can never pronounce Polish names. I work with so many Polish people. You know, I'm going to go on Marc-Andre on this one, though. I think he's a little bit more experienced. I think he's going to be able to find the range on this one. It's a good fight, though. This is actually a pretty decent fight. This would be like a pay-per-view early prelim opener. Nothing too crazy. You know, middleweight division's quite dead now with Khamzat Chimaev with the belt. Very interesting to see when Khamzat's coming back. Hopefully it's the start of summer. I just want to see the guy fight. I just want to see him fight. Like, I want to see him fight. That's all I want to see Khamzat do is fight. And injuries and stuff like that have definitely prevented his career. But, you know, Imavov is a good opponent. Imavov is a good fight. It's a fun fight. It's a striker's delight. So I'm looking forward to it. But on this one, I go on Marc-Andre Barreta. I'm going to go with second round TKO on that one. Next up, we have Jean Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. I'm going to go with Farid Basharat. I've seen a few highlights of these guys. I'm not too familiar with the career. I'm not going to lie to you. He's from Afghanistan versus Brazil. Yeah, I'm going to go with Farid on this one. I'm going to go Farid on this one. I'll be real. I'm not too familiar with these guys' career. I feel like I've seen that Jean Matsumoto quite a bit. I've seen Jean Matsumoto quite a bit. So maybe he'll get that one done. He looks a bit like Ronaldo or some shit like that. He looks like a football player. I don't fucking know, but still. Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. I'm going to go with Julius Walker on this one. Dustin Jacoby's an OG. Dustin Jacoby's a bit of a veteran. He's got that crafty vet in him, but he's just not that good. He's not got the skill set to get this one done. I think Julius Walker is actually quite decent. Was impressed in his last fight. For light heavyweight, pretty good skill set. So I'm going to go with him on this one. I'm going to go with him via first round TKO. Hopefully he gets to finish on this one. But, you know, the rest of the card is pretty decent. You know, Alex Morono's on this one. I'm going to go pick him. Some of these fight nights, bro. This is why I don't do fight companions. Because I just don't want to fake. But I'm going to go Alex Morono on this one. And then the rest of the card is pretty decent. We'll do rapid fire predictions on this one. Nico Price. Now, I wanted to actually talk a little bit about Nico Price. Nico Price is someone that just kind of pops up on every single UFC card like known to mankind. So, I'm going to go with Nico Price on this one. He's probably going to get smacked. He's probably going to lose. But I'll keep my boy going on this one. I'm going to go with him via decision. And even Said Nurmagomedov, why is he on the fucking prelims? I'm going to go with Brazil on this one. I want to talk about this. Why is Said Nurmagomedov on the prelims? And Javid Basharat, this should be a main card opener. And if we have a little look-see here at the main card opener, Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker, at least Said Nurmagomedov has good striking. Now, I feel like a lot of us got clickbaited Said Nurmagomedov with the fact that he just had the Nurmagomedov name. I definitely fell in that trap. I think Javid Basharat isn't exactly great. I don't think he's going to be able to hang with Said Nurmagomedov on the feet. I feel like Said Nurmagomedov will probably be able to find the shots that wobble him, and he's going to get it done via submission on this one. It's a pretty decent fight. But like, does anybody care? Does anybody care about this fight? And if you just see here, this is a ranked women's flyweight bout. Women's flyweight bout. And it's just so dead. Wang Kong versus Ejirada Morala. I can't pronounce that fucking name. Does anybody care? Genuinely, does anyone give a shit about this fucking division? Women's MMA is dead, bro. Women's MMA is dead, and we have Munian Gurav versus Jacob Wiklas. I'm gonna go with Jacob on this one. I've seen one of his fights before. It looked pretty decent, but not gonna do shit. And then we have some dead women's bantamweight fight no one cares about, and the final fight of the night. All in all, it's actually a pretty solid fight night. I know I kind of said some things about it in this video, but all in all, I think it's a pretty decent fight night. I think it's a decent enough fight night. I think no one cares. Obviously, it's not going to have massive implements in the bantamweight division. None of these fights really, most of them are just unranked. So, Vinicius Oliveira v decision. Let me know what you think about this one down below, boys, and thanks for watching.